Well, I'm just finishing up painting in the water here. Just sort of trying to get in place what I'm after. And I've been working only with ultramarine blue in the water, and I've put in a little bit of burnt sienna here and a bit of white. Have not laid in any direct reflection of light from these rocks yet. Down here, and I think I'll probably put in just the odd stroke, not much. In general, I wanted to add some light over to the right to not oppose, but counterbalance the light that's going to be over here, because this is really the strength, right? So I wanted to have a little more weight here. I also wanted to have the design of light to dark, high value to low value, heading in this direction here, in order to counter these lines that I have up top. Anyway, I've been using ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, as I've been raving about lately. And also, ultramarine blue and raw umber over here, because that's truer to the colors that are opposing it here, right? Or complementing each other, so to speak. So, you could say it's an under. I'm sort of doing an underpainting here, but not really. There really isn't much of a technically an underpainting going on here. It's mostly because I stained the canvas. I didn't sort of leave room for an underpainting, and if I did not, after I've covered this canvas down here on the lower left, if I didn't lay another stroke on it, then workmanship wise, the canvas would be just fine. It wouldn't need anything else. Don't need an underpainting for reference, really. But I'm painting the water, and I wanted to paint it because you get these rich, buttery knife strokes or brush strokes in place. And then you get to lay some highlights on it. So, what would you call this? Underpainting? I think I'd just call it an in-painting. Because we are painting it in. And all that's going to be left to do after that is lay in some highlights here and there. Which is, the step 7 that I talk about often. That's what that will end up being. I'm going to leave that dark line in there for now, I think. I'm going to use this dark line for reference, and I may add another darker line elsewhere later. But the paint has to set, so I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. Okay, that can set. I'm going to bump and jump the camera a little bit, so please be prepared for that. It's my hillbilly way of editing until I figure out these issues that I'm having with my actual editing software. It's not software. It's a program. Okay, it's backed up a fair bit. Now I can get my ugly mug in there. Actually, let me drop the painting so that there isn't so much glare. You can probably see it more clearly if I lower it like that. Yeah, I think that's better. There, now you can see the entirety of the mess that I work with. Alright, so I have light over light, right? I've used no cobalt blue down here. It's all ultramarine blue. I've used no ultramarine blue up here. Oh, sorry, I did. Just the odd mixed into the odd stroke up here. But really, I've used cobalt blue and raw umber. Hints of yellow ochre up here. Can't remember what else. But we have this opposing this. That works, okay. And I'm going to need to lay in some strong highlights here and there just to help organize the water and make the water strong enough to stand up to these rocks, obviously, right? I have so many dark lines in these rocks that I'm going to have to lay something darker in places and quite a bit higher value, quite a bit lighter in other places. That'll take care of the water. So light over light. I mentioned this earlier. This will be necessary. This light is going to carry on over to here somewhere. I'm going to make a bit of an arc so that we have light here. This whole area of the sky will be fairly light, and it'll sort of cut down like this, sort of in this direction. We'll follow it through the trees a bit, and then down here and off the canvas here. So we'll end up with that. Right now it's a bit subdued, it's a bit capped too much on top. And of course, light over light, which is fine. It's just that there's a light blob on the right directly over a light blob on the right. The trees. I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about where I lay some trunks. I really would like to put in some indications of trunk in these trees. I can't just have a band of green, you know, or of deep blue. It needs to be broken with some interesting sort of sculptural look to the boughs, to the branches, and yeah, a great addition to that would be tree trunks, and that would of course also give me a point of reference for where I could, you know, where I could take the boughs from, or you know, paint boughs from those trunks. I might even put in you know, maybe a dead standing tree somewhere, something thicker, somewhere an upright stump. I love stumps. They have such character. Because this is all very sculptural, right? I need to sort of maintain that a little bit in my hard items in here. That's not a hard item, that's not a hard item. That's harder than that, but not as hard as this. So I still need to have something in these trees that's fairly direct, fairly strong. It's going to require some thought. So I need to give some time to do that. But I would prefer to fix the sky, bring the sky to the point that I would like it before I paint the trees, because I'm finishing my design of the outline of the trees by cutting into them with the sky, right? Because if I paint the trees and then I take the sky and cut into it, it's going to be much more difficult for me. And I said earlier I'm lazy, so that's how it's going to be. Okay, if I keep talking, I'm just going to be blithering senselessly, which I have been accused of doing. Talk to you soon.